Yeah. Okay. So I'm Chantelle Norton. I've actually got David
Oh,
Markson next to me.
hello everybody.
He's one of the co-founders of Food in Community, and he's going to join us for the chat section. So we're going to talk to you today about how to use surplus food as a tool to build community where you are. So surplus food is actually quite a complicated beast to manage. It's very, very variable as a resource, and there's some parallels to energy generation actually, and grid management. I won't go into it in detail today because of the time constraint. So I'm going to cut straight into what Food in Community have actually been developing over the last 10 years. It's actually a permaculture-based project. So we use permaculture design methods. It's actually a design methodology, not just a set of gardening design tools. And we gather surplus food, we collect it, we sort it, we get as much of it out as possible, but occasionally we do have to store some of it to manage the supply. We pack it, and then we deliver it to charities, community groups that are helping vulnerable people in their community and cutting waste. And we also deliver directly to households. And the geographical areas that we work on are different for those two activities. So we gather our food directly from wholesalers and manufacturers and farms. So some of our food comes directly out of fields, orchards, and market gardens, and we also cook with it. So we run two of our own community cafes as well as supplying food to other people's. One is in Totnes, and actually we're very excited to say that it's opening back up again properly this Saturday after 2 years, almost 2 years closed. So I'll give you details of that at the end of this talk. We've also got one in Newton Abbot. We run an event catering service for community events. We run a plethora of workshops and lunch clubs for different targeted groups, and we're going to reopen our public workshops fairly soon. And we also we don't have any community fridges, but we do have community cooking groups because they're very quick and flexible. And yeah, I can explain more about that in the chat afterwards. And we also have an education piece. So we've made quite a lot of mistakes and done quite a lot of things right over the years. So we're happy to sort of share our knowledge and really see initiatives that help tackle the climate emergency and the biodiversity emergency and feed people and deliver social justice. So what we've got here, you have to think back to 2012. We didn't have anything in the food waste space happening back then. So if we wanted to see a different project using food waste in a different way, we had to basically invent it. But this model, this holistic model, works in different other locations by bringing different organisations together that have those different functions. So this is what it looks like on the ground. So you've got gleaning and cafes and workshops and food preservation. It's great stuff, and lots of great volunteers behind it. Very diverse crew. And what we feel that really works is the local connections and the sense of reciprocity, sort of give and take, which helps individuals with dignity and self-worth, but also means that you build very good relationships with other organisations and other community groups as well. So all communities are different. So if you want to sort of do something in the food waste space, although there's differences, there's commonalities to us all. But there are just some things that work a little bit better than others in a rural context that South Hams is in. So what we would recommend is a mapping exercise, if you haven't already done it, to work out what your community's needs and priorities are, and the strengths and weaknesses. And it's really, really important to look at what's already happening in the area, because there's some really good opportunities to join up. For example, if you've got a food bank in your area, they may not be able to use catering packs of food, but you might be able to make a project that can. So there's a way to kind of, you use the food really, really completely. So if you want to know anything, ask. If we've got quite a flexible model, and I'm not expecting you to be able to read all of this slide. I would recommend, actually, if you're interested, to have a look when the talk is uploaded onto the Sustainable South Hams website afterwards. But it's just to demonstrate that this is what happened for us in 2020, and because we've got all these different parts working together, we're able to be very flexible and create a really optimal pandemic response, because we already had strong community connections with the councils and with different organisations and in the community as well. And just to give an example, when we realised that some of our smaller suppliers were really struggling, we applied for and got a fairly decent chunk of money from DEFRA, so we could actually purchase some food from our local sustainable suppliers that had supported us so well with their surplus previously. So yeah, there's like a circularity to it. So just, I hope this demonstrates that food can be the glue that sort of, and community connection are so important to all of us wherever we live. And just to explain a little bit about the sustainability aspect of food waste, it's probably pointing out the obvious, but actually the environmental food footprint of food waste it's this huge thing, but it's actually reflective of the environmental the environmental cost of production of that food. So just be careful about what kind of food production you're supporting by solving the problems of manufacturers with what happens with their waste. If you look at it as building community capacity, that's a really positive thing to do. And you use all your opportunities as well to build up evidence as to what's helpful for your local population. Like, we're seeing a lot of hardship, particularly amongst disabled and very unwell people at the moment. So we're responding to that and looking at how we can tackle the root causes with other people. So that's just a little bit of positivity. We've certainly got a lot of hope for the future. I think if we all work together, we can really make a massive difference in South Hams and perhaps beyond. So thank you. And here's our social media is our most active. We also have a website, but I would encourage you to get in contact if you're interested in picking up any of the different aspects of what we do, if you want to replicate it in your community or you want more information. And just to say that we've got, I see that Emma's already spoken about this Food for Thought event, which is happening at the end of the month, where there's an opportunity to find out in a little bit more depth sort of how you can sort of access some support and possibly some food for your project if you've got an idea. And also just to add a few details about our Pay What You Feel cafe, which is on Saturday in Totnes. So it's an opportunity to kind of experience it for yourself and meet some of the people that are behind Food and Community. So thanks for listening, and happy to take any questions.